Namaste, my name is Amish Tripathi and I'm the director of the Nehru Centre, London. Now, some may think of Nehru Centre as just this beautiful fine building, and it is a fine building, no doubt. We have a wonderful art gallery out here. We have an awesome auditorium on the first floor with a capacity of 100 to 120 people right here in the heart of central London in Mayfair. But the Nehru Centre is a lot more than this fine building. The Nehru Centre is also an online platform. We are available on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram and on YouTube. And so the Nehru Centre is actually wherever you want it to be. Of course, we'd love for you to come to the physical events that we organize out here when we do organize them. But do join all our online platforms as well. This is a hybrid world. We are going to have offline physical events and online events as well. So do join our online platforms and do keep giving us feedback of what you think of it. We'd love to host you out there. We'd love to hear what you think of our events, and do keep sending in your suggestions as well. We do keep imbibing and learning from the feedback that you give to us to give you programs that you guys might enjoy. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Namaste. Jai Hind.
Unmute.
Sorry. It's my pleasure to come here today's event. We're gathered here today to announce the launch of a pioneering integrated global platform for emotional well-being and mental health, CAPE, where medicine and neuroscience meets creativity for emotional equilibrium on a global platform for the very first time ever. The Royal College of Psychiatrists, UK, acknowledged this globally pioneering approach in integrating neuroscience with the creative arts for optimal mental health in 2018. CAPE, or Creative Arts for Processing Emotion, is the brainchild of Dr. Ramya Mohan. Dr. Mohan is a senior NHS development consultant psychiatrist, medical educator, qualified educational supervisor, music composer, trained singer, exhibiting artist, invited author, orator, and humanitarian working across Asia and Europe. The Royal College of Psychiatrists have commended her as a global pioneer in amalgamating creative arts and neuroscience for youth and societal development, awarding her a fellowship of the Royal College for distinctive contributions to world psychiatry, and twice nominating her for the Communicator of the Year award. Dr. Ramya's original work has pioneered a global movement in integrating music and the creative arts with neuroscience to support optimal mental health across the West and East over the years. Her internationally acclaimed neuroscientific therapeutic technique, CAPE, has dedicated users across the globe. She is the medical director and creative head of iManus London, a trailblazing organization with an established body of globally acclaimed work, integrating medicine, music, art, neuroscience, and ability in society through high-impact events, global projects, and large-scale media awareness work. She has recently completed a 5-year stint as a global psychiatrist with multiple international community development projects across Europe and India. Dr. Ramya's repertoire of invited talks, music, art, and oratory on a prestigious world platform includes TEDx, United Nations SDG Champions Conference, the High Commission of India, the Houses of Lords and Commons, Mental Wealth Festival, World Media, and some of the world's top universities, schools, colleges, and hospitals. She is a senior consultant in development developmental child and adolescent psychiatry with the National Health Service and the Priory Healthcare Group, United Kingdom. She is an experienced medical educator and trainer and a specialty champion for child and adolescent psychiatry, health education, England. In 2015, Dr. Ramya Mohan initially announced an innovative self-guided assessment and therapeutic technique, CAPE, Creative Arts for Processing Emotions, followed by a few other releases in 2016 and CAPE Youth in 2017 at the Nehru Center. Launched by stalwarts like the Baroness of Wimbledon, Professor Sheila Hollins, and Mrs. Sukanya Shankar, wife of legendary sitarist Pandit Ravi Shankar, Padma Bhushan Sudha Raghunathan, the legendary classical vocalist, and Miss Saraswati Sen, and Miss Ashanti Omkar, and Dr. Nanda Kumara, who we have the pleasure of inviting back to today's launch. Dr. Ramya Mohan will now briefly set the context for CAPE and invite views from the expert panel. Stay tuned to know more about managing your emotional well-being and optimal mental health in a challenging new world.
Thank you so much, Ranjani, and many thanks to the Nehru Center and Amish Tripathi ji for hosting today's event. And thank you all so much for being part of today's program. This is an exciting time for us at Team CAPE, and as is traditional, I'd like to invoke Lord Ganesha at the start. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvighnan kuru me deva sarvakaryeshu sarvada Many thanks to all of you for joining us today. So what's CAPE? CAPE's an integrated web platform and app for optimal emotional well-being, mental health, and resilience. With access on demand in the palm of your hand, we are an integrated evidence-based platform with one-tap access to global experts, scientifically proven self-guided components with secure and seamless communication. But why CAPE and why now? Well, the WHO, the World Health Organization, said mental illness would overtake cardiovascular morbidity by 2030. Unfortunately, what's happened is COVID has exacerbated that and it's hastened the process. More than ever before, people are feeling the pressures of living in today's world, whether it's reconfigured or single parent families, precocious exposure to technology, drugs, or alcohol, work life imbalance, working from home. The figures are truly alarming. But this is only unfortunately the tip of the iceberg. Infrastructure across countries are patchy with a paucity of trained professionals, which makes the current situation even more dire. So our journey began in 2015 when, for the first time ever, we brought together music, creative arts, and global culture with psychology, neuroscience, and medicine to create CAPE. And through the years, we've had wonderful experiences and, in fact, a lot of feedback and scientific validation. And for the first time ever, we're bringing it forth as a tech-enabled platform and app to maximize accessibility and standardization whilst bypassing stigma and keeping it really discreet. So how do we work? So we have access to comprehensive specialist assessments. We tailor customized support modules and programs. We have excellent sensitive risk alert systems and fantastic signposting systems. And backed by robust science and long-term user feedback, our users have access to excellent support systems, which is supported further by community-led workshops and events. Well, The East-West synchrony has been established for quite some time, but we also maintain the highest levels of ethics and confidentiality, transparent data management, and GDPR compliance. We're delighted to say that we've had over 2,000 clinical users for CAPE, with over 55 articles, reviews, presentations, and publications on an international platform. Our user testimonials bear testimony to our credibility and expertise through the years. So through the years, the CAPE approach has been critically acclaimed by the medical community, creative community, and international media, and a global platform. We have been really fortunate to have excellent associations and collaborations with internationally acclaimed science, education, and creative platforms. We are UN SDG action partners and forerunners for health and education, and we hope to take this forward in 2021. CAPE has been applauded for integrating the best of Eastern and Western creativity, scientific thinking, and what we call neuroaesthetics with well-evidenced therapeutic techniques in the right proportion and mix to support optimal emotional regulation, mental health, and resilience, and offer customized solutions that work. So who's CAPE for? CAPE's for organizations, for educational institutions, for adults, the elderly, children, women, teenagers. We can also help with sports people, sleep difficulties in the post-COVID era. So we're able to support in a very comprehensive manner. We're delighted that we're being launched by the High Commission of India UK Cultural Wing, the Nehru Centre, today as a pioneering well-being companion for educational institutions, corporates, and individuals. To summarize, CAPE is truly comprehensive. We are a mental health platform and app sensitive and for the first time ever accessible to one and all. CAPE is for all, creatively supporting all of you in a unique, meaningful journey towards optimal well-being. I'm delighted to announce our specialist panel here today. We are very privileged and honored to have them with us. I'll go around and we'll start off with Dr. M. N. Nandakumara, who is a stalwart when it comes to the creative arts, literature, and culture. Dr. M. N. Nandakumara, popularly known as Nandaji, is the executive director of the Bharati Vidya Bhavan UK in London, the world's largest art and culture center for Indian arts outside of India. An accomplished Sanskrit scholar, poet, and arts and culture expert, he was recognized as one of the top 50 influential Indians shaping Britain's happening arts and culture landscape. He has researched extensively on representations of Krishna and Purandaradasa in Kannada literary classics. During his PhD, he was a Sanskrit educator and librarian at the Bhavan, becoming its academic director in 1984 and subsequently its executive director. Dr. Nandakumar has been honored with Milap Fest's lifetime contribution to Indian arts and culture in 2008 and the Karnataka Rajyotsava Award for contribution to Kannada art and culture in 2011. Coming from the Sanskrit-speaking village of Mattur, he treasures memories from the village, its landscape, the temple celebrations, the Tunga River, and the nostalgia that seeps into his narratives, transforming into simple, beautiful lyrical poetry in Kannada. We're extremely honored to have you with us today, Dr. Nandakumar. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramya. I'm very grateful to dear Ramya for giving me this opportunity to be with all the experts here. I'm the only one who is not an expert, but I can just add that in our ancient culture, art has become part of everything. We have a beautiful Vedic statement, Sa Vidya Ya Vimuktaye. Maybe we can make a slight change there to suit our modern day things. Sa Kala Ya Vimuktaye. Real art is which helps anyone to come out of any difficulty in life. Any Vimuktaye really means to free oneself from bondages. Here we can think of people coming out of any depression or any kind of illnesses, any thing that they are going through in their life. And also, as we all know, such beautiful verses in our scriptures which mention about health, how important it is for an individual. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. It says, may all be happy. Sarve santu niramaya. May all be free from all kinds of illnesses. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. May all experience only that which is auspicious. Ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Let no one suffer. And I'm very happy that Ramya is doing such good work in this field, and I wish her all the best. I wish her success in everything that she does. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nandakumar, for your presence here today and your very kind words. We're very honored and grateful. I'd next like to introduce Professor Venkatesh Panchapagesan. Professor Venkatesh is the chairperson of NSR Cell, the Indian Institute of Management Bangalore Startup Hub, as well as the head of the Real Estate Research Initiative. He is an associate professor of finance at the Indian Institute of Management Bangalore. Professor Venkatesh, or Professor Venki as he's better known, has more than 23 years of experience in academia and in global financial services industry after finishing his PhD in finance from the University of Southern California. His prior experience includes senior management roles at the world's top hedge funds, Goldman Sachs Asset Management and Bridgewater Associates, and academic positions at the Olin Schools of Business at Washington University in St. Louis full-time and Stern School of Business, New York University in a visiting capacity. He is published in top peer-reviewed academic and practitioner journals in the world and is qualified as a chartered accountant, a cost accountant, and holds a postgraduate diploma from the Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata in India. Professor Venkatesh, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramya, and I think it's a pleasure to be with you as well as with the other experts in this sort of inauguration of your online platform. I have actually been following you and this platform for more than a year now, so I'm very happy to note that we have reached a landmark stage from which I think this Cape and you would actually blossom and provide the right kind of support to a large number of young people. I am actually wearing three hats. I was just thinking about what I should talk during this inauguration, and I thought actually I'm looking at this platform from three different perspectives. As a faculty of a large academic institution, we sort of see about 1,000 students a year that go through the campus. And historically, we've always had one or two cases when people were in campus having at least reaching out for mental health issues. And we now have somebody in campus available for such support in a confidential manner. But actually, what happened is from 2020, after COVID, this pandemic also brought a whole lot of mental health issues to the fore that was probably lurking. I wouldn't say it did not. It came only in 2020, but it must have been there before. But I think because people were also not physically interacting, some of these issues got exacerbated. And we saw a whole lot of students, even from wherever they were virtually, they were seeking a mental support. And I think that was a realization for me that I think the time has come for us to sort of, if Muhammad does not go to the mountain, we should go to the, if Muhammad doesn't, if a mountain doesn't come to the Muhammad should go to the mountain. So something like that, where we should seek out people who need such support. The second perspective was from the startup community. I head the incubator at IIM Bangalore. And as part of that, we saw during the pandemic a phenomenal rise in startup founders' mental issues. And I think I wouldn't call it an issue. It is more for sort of founders crying for support. And we had organized several workshops for them. But it was again a realization that in a very competitive environment like a startup community in Bangalore, and I'm assuming it is there everywhere in the world, many of the young people who are suddenly pushed into this very competitive sort of environment end up seeking the need for somebody to guide them and sort of take care of their mental well-being. And I think that's again a big realization that came out from COVID. And last but not the least, I'm also a parent of two boys who are just coming out of teenage years, and I have seen both in them as well as in many of their friends enormous need for them to be supported, because I think they go through this, especially in the social media world. Many of them are crying for support, and I think having a platform which gives them the confidentiality, which gives them the support without sort of judgment is the need of the hour. And I'm very happy that Dr. Ramya is taking the first step. I really wish her the best, and just wanted to let her know that I am Bangalore and NSRCEL will support her in making sure that she is successful in this. Thank you, Dr. Ramya.
Thank you so much, Professor Venkatesh. I really appreciate all the support and indeed all the support and guidance that you've given me over the past year in my journey through with NSRCEL and through IIM as well. Thank you so much. Thank you. Not sure if I can do justice to the legendary violinist, music composer, music educator, and academician, Dr. Mysore Manjunath, with my introduction, but I will try. Internationally acclaimed, Dr. Manjunath is a child prodigy who has an incredible fan following across the globe. A world-class violinist and cultural ambassador for Indian classical music, his musical genius and technical virtuosity on the violin is unparalleled. From the Royal Albert Hall to Sydney Opera House to the world's top music festivals, media, universities, and performance platforms in more than 40 countries, Dr. Manjunath, along with his brother, together they're known as the Mysore Brothers, they have enthralled audiences globally. Dr. Manjunath has shared his immense music knowledge generously with everyone. The Mysore Brothers make a formidable music team. His collaborations with the top orchestras in the world are unique. He's recognized as a top grade ranking artist by the Government of India, chaired innumerable international music conferences and seminars around the world, and is a serving professor of music, Mysore University in India. As an academic, he has presented many papers, designed university programs on an international platform, and is the recipient of multiple national and international awards, too many to list here, including the Sangeet Natak Academy Award. He is a member of many national policy and decision-making fora in creative arts education and implementation. Dr. Manjunath, to summarize, is a true cultural ambassador for the creative arts for India and the world. Dr. Manjunath, honored to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ramya. I'm immensely delighted and extremely proud to be on this panel, and my reverential salutations to all the dignitaries on this panel. And Dr. Ramya, thanks for nice words. And we just now heard Venkatesh ji and Nanda ji. And in his opening remarks, Nanda ji mentioned that he's not an expert, whereas all others are highly qualified. But we all know that Nanda ji is one of the most respected Indians living abroad, and we all have immense respect for Nandaji, and he's an amazing multifaceted personality, and I'm immensely delighted to share this dayas with Nandaji. And now, Ramya, my very sincere, heartfelt compliments to you, congratulations to you for bringing all these things up together and launching this wonderful online, one single platform. And since I'm a musician, I have to tell you that you just now sang a wonderful Ganapati Stuti in a beautiful raga called Nata. You have such a melodious voice, and next time you should sing for a longer time, Ramya. And anyway, now coming back to the topic of the day, Cape. I have been following Dr. Ramya for several years now, and I have always followed Ramya's achievements. Not only here in India, but also in the UK, Europe, and elsewhere. And I have always felt immensely proud of her achievements because she's from my home state. And here I'm reminded of mentioning one important thing here, because just a few days ago there was an international conference on the impact of music on the mental and the health of mental health. And some of the topmost scientists, psychologists, musicians, musicologists, and many other experts from around the globe participated in this conference that took place in Bangalore. And the outcome is quite obvious and then clear. The amazing power of music. We all know that music is the language of hearts. The music is probably one of the best things that has happened to mankind. Music is probably one thing that can really unite the people in the modern context. We all know about all these things. But when we come to know about many wonderful, priceless scientific research, that have been taking place in this field of a therapeutic value of music, I was really amazed to see all the results, Ramya. Many scientists from different parts of the world, they all came together, and we had several panel discussions and many scientific presentations and demonstrations. Every single one of them have, for time and again, constantly proving the wonderful capacity, wonderful power of music as a tool to cure many ailments. Especially, as you rightly mentioned, after the pandemic, we all have really become mad, the modern context. So many mental related disorders, we are witnessing in the modern day. And as one of the eminent doctors mentioned in this conference, this medical conference, probably the day might come when, instead of prescribing crocin or ibuprofen or paracetamol or painkillers, we should be able to prescribe a beautiful Indian ragas like Kalyani for headache, and Hindola for back pain, and Raga Todi for mental stress, and Raga Shankarabharana, Raga Kalyani, Raga Sindhu Bhairavi for sleeplessness and this and that and kind of thing. Because the Indian classical music is immensely unique in such a manner that Indian classical music has never been practiced for the sole reason of entertainment. For centuries together, Indian classical music has always been practiced not only as an entertaining thing, but predominantly as a tool to self realization and practicing spiritualism, yoga, spiritualism, meditation, and concentration, and then music. All these things always go together. In this context, Cape coming up with such a highly innovative idea of bringing together some of the most precious things in the world, and then making it a comprehensive tool for mental disorder or whatever you want to say, so many millions and thousands of different disorders. And going online like this is immensely welcoming thing. And probably I'm when I see the names, the legendary experts, that the Cape is working right now, that itself is an indication how credible the Cape is going to be, and then how wonderful it is going to be received. Because Cape has very specifically and then carefully chosen some of the topmost people, the best in the field. We are all there, and with an amazing intuition of Dr. Ramya, I'm pretty sure that Cape is going to be one of the foremost apps in this field to help thousands and millions of people who are going to be in need of some sort of medical attention. And since this is a launch of an app, that means it is not restricted to do any one particular region. It is globally available, and some of the globally renowned specialists, musicians, medical doctors and psychiatrists, everyone coming together to cure the pain of the modern world. And I can very surely see a wonderful future for this app, because this is the order of the day now. Many people will be more than happy to utilize this priceless service from Cape, and I'm immensely happy and then feel privileged to be a part of this Cape, and not only a part of Cape, but also taking part in this beautiful launching occasion, launching ceremony. And my heartfelt, sincere compliments and then congratulations to Dr. Ramya, and all the best to you, Ramya. And then really, and you have a big, huge responsibility now. I'm pretty sure you are going to handle everything. And all the best to you. Hope to see you sometime very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manjunath, for your kind words and your support. It's invaluable in our journey. The journey has only begun, so it's a long way to go. Each time we come out with a different version of Cape, and we keep adding on new things, and we start to think, hang on, our journey is just beginning now, and we've got such a long way to go. Is the age-old adage that goes, the more you know, the less you know. And that's what I'm realizing as well. And so it is a process of collaboration, process of working together, process of going from strength to strength, with the view, with the ultimate mission of creating a world that feels more manageable and capable for everyone. So accessibility and affordability is the goal, and making sure that everyone has access to support as and when they need it. So it is a noble cause, and as you rightly said, it's a very big responsibility. And with the support of wonderful people like yourselves, those on the panel, hopefully it's all progress from now. Thank you so much. Dr. Shantanu Mukherjee, I'd like to introduce you. Dr. Shantanu Mukherjee is, his bio will speak for itself, but also happens to be a very dear friend from a very long time. We know each other from decades, and it's wonderful to see how Dr. Mukherjee has come, where he's gotten to in his life. He's a Supreme Court of India advocate and accredited mediator. With 25 years of experience, he heads Exley Chambers, a boutique law chambers with offices in New Delhi and Kolkata. An expert in dispute resolution, alternate dispute resolution, transactional law support, policy advisory, intellectual property laws, international trade, WTO regulations, and technology laws. He advises on complex techno-legal matters and legal and public policy strategy. His vast legal experience spans India, the States, Switzerland, and Germany. He has extensively worked with and engaged in multilateral negotiations at the WTO and United Nations bodies, including climate change conferences. A member of the Supreme Court Bar Association, International Bar Association, and the chairman of policy at the International Bar Association. He sits on different national committees of CII, the International Chamber of Commerce, and Bengal Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Active in national policy discourses and socio-legal issues. He's passionate about development, justice delivery, and education. He works pro bono in West Bengal on capacity building on legal rights and mediation for dispute resolution. He mentors young professionals, delivers seminars, and judges moots at leading research and academic institutions. Shantanu holds an LLB from Kolkata University, Masters in International Law and Economics, and a PhD from the World Trade Institute, Switzerland. He was a British Evening Scholar, President Boy Scout, and Best Cadet Air Force Wing NCC of West Bengal. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Shantanu Mukherjee. Welcome.
Thank you. Namaskar to everyone. Thank you very much, Ramya. Well, in this sense, I think I am the odd man out in today's creative panel. And I don't know why Ramya brought me in or why Ramya wanted me to be on the panel. Now, the point is, if you see creative arts and processing emotions, creative arts for processing emotions or keep, as you mentioned, and when you talk about blending neuroscience and creativity, this itself is such a topic that intrigued me to say yes to the panel, so that at least I can learn something from these creative people. Otherwise, what good a lawyer is about. The point is, this itself, I thought, yeah, this is something interesting. Perhaps I can learn something. And I said immediately yes to Ramya. And now then I thought, then what to do now? I have said yes to the panel. What will I say? I have nothing to say. So in that scenario, of course, thanks to the Nehru Center of the Indian High Commission that they said they organized this, which is very good. But then I thought that let me look back in my profession, whether legal profession. I have not done anything else. So yes, academia blended research, blended with the legal practice. But the point is, I thought, let me look back in my profession and see if this wonderful cape can somehow be fitted in to my profession. That's what I wanted to see. What do lawyers do? Typically, if you talk of lawyers, and I'm sure the panel, if you look into the panel will also think in the same manner. The lawyers, what they do is try to win for their clients. They try to, in any so when you are winning, that means there is certain conflict situation. So there is a conflict situation, and the lawyer is trying to win that conflict situation. Now the question is, what will happen if the lawyer and the lawyer's client is defeated? The point is that someone will be defeated. If there are two parties, one will be defeated. Now, are we able to manage defeat properly? What about the gap between the victory and the defeat when we don't know what is going to happen to us? The stress, the scenarios that comes by. Do we export that stress to the family? That's the other question which comes in. Definitely, if we lawyers try to resolve the conflicts, try to see resolution rather than winning, perhaps the emotional well-being of the parties will be taken care of. And in this regard, perhaps mediation is a better option. Mediation would look into win-win situation. And at the end of the day, we will see that the emotional well-being of the parties are more balanced than in a conflict, win and lose conflict situation. Now that in this situation, I wanted to ask myself that this is what lawyers do, this is what lawyers need to do to resolve the problems, other than just win a conflict situation, win over to one side. Will, in that stressful situation where there is a defeat issue, or an issue whether there will be a defeat or not, I have a question mark whether a program of like a cape, a sort of sound, 360-degree sort of program, where not just the health of the parties but also the emotional well-being is taken care of, will that have a scope? And I think it's not just the vulnerable society that CAPE caters to, and also quite a broad array of target audience that was mentioned. I think this sort of situations will definitely be important for CAPE to cover, so that there is balance in people's mind, because conflicts do happen, disputes happen. So disputes, whether the lawyers are called in or not, disputes will happen, and the conflicts will also be going into the extremes. There will be one or to both the parties very stressed. In that scenario, I think that a program like CAPE will be very useful. And I would like to hear more about CAPE, and maybe perhaps even want to know some of, even raise questions to understand, because I'm a layman in this entire panel. And so I brought in my thought process, whatever I had in mind, I brought in. And with that, I will stop now and listen to the others.
Thank you so much, Shantanu. That was really illuminating. And yes, I mean, we know that the legal profession is one of the most stressful professions by its very nature. And as you rightly said, I think just taking into account what all of you have been saying, clearly we are in a world where stress is predominant. But the good thing is, the good news is, the people are talking about it more. So at least people are starting to talk about it, conversations are happening, and that is a very positive first step. That has to be there in order to enable us to acknowledge that, right, this is something that we need to be dealing with. This is something that's not going to just go away if you brush it under the carpet, because the bumps are going to show. So that's a very helpful thing. And on this note, many thanks, Shantanu. I would like to introduce Dr. Kishore Kumar. It's my absolute honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Kishore Kumar. Dr. Kumar is the current registrar of Mangalore University, one of India's premier teaching institutions. He's held positions as the Director of Physical Education and the Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University previously. Dr. Kishore, very unassuming, but has over 29 years of experience in postgraduate and undergraduate teaching and research. He has extensive research experience in being a principal investigator for UGC projects, and has been the research guide and coordinator of UGC's innovative programs. He is a member of many academic bodies and societies and wears many hats, including being a syndicate and academic council member and the Dean of Education. He is the chairman of various educational and policy committees and the chair of the Department of Postgraduate Research in Physical Education. Dr. Kishore has published many articles and chapters in books. He has presented multiple research articles in both national and international conferences and conducted workshops. He has a PhD in education and has been guiding many research scholars over the years. He has chaired many sessions in international and national conferences. His organizational experience in inter-university sports is extensive. He has been the organizing secretary for many intercollegiate sports tournaments and conferences, and has officiated in university and state championships. He has experience of being the third umpire in international cricket. Dr. Kishore, thank you very much for joining our panel today, and a warm welcome to you. I think you're frozen, Dr. Kishore. I think we may have lost Dr. Kishore. We seem to have lost Dr. Kishore. Whilst we wait for Dr. Kishore, it would be helpful, I think, to look at a couple of questions that have come our way. And if we could get the expert panel up and open it up to them. The first question, I think I may be in a good position to answer. The first question is, can everyone use Scape, and who's Scape for? Oh, we've got Dr. Kishore back. Dr. Kishore, can you hear and see us?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
excellent. Yes,
extremely
Dr.
sorry.
Kishore, no worries, no worries. We're
Can
really
you hear
delighted
me?
you're back. Yes, we can hear you. So, Mr. Jory, it'd be great if we could hear from Dr. Kishore first and move on to the Q&A later. Yes, we can hear you. I think Dr. Kishore is having some technical difficulties on the platform again. So I'll try and answer the question whilst we wait. The question was, is CAPE useful for all? And the answer is yes, it is. One does not have to be mentally ill to use CAPE. It does not matter if you're on medication. It does not matter if you're having therapy. It doesn't matter if you have a physical illness that requires you to have other interventions. And it doesn't matter if you're completely fine, fit, and healthy. It doesn't matter at all, because a CAPE is intended to support you through your day-to-day stresses, day-to-day functioning, wherever you're in your journey, whether it's managing day-to-day stresses, dealing with complications at work, or whether you've just recently been diagnosed with a difficulty, you're trying to grapple with it. It can complement your existing medication and therapeutic approaches, and it can also support you as you work towards recovery and sustenance of the recovery. So in that sense, CAPE is intended to support every aspect of where you are and looks at you as a comprehensive individual. I'm afraid we seem to have lost Dr. Kishore, which is an absolute shame, really. So there's a couple of other questions, and I'll open it up to the panel. It would be wonderful if anyone could answer it. Just bear with me. It's a very diverse panel that's gathered here today. Can one of you or all of you please let us know how you might integrate something like CAPE in your life or with the people around you? Who'd like to take that up?
I can start there. So I think one of the reasons I was attracted to CAPE when Ramya was mentioning about that a year back was how do we use it for initially with our startup community. As I mentioned to you earlier, the startups go through a very competitive and stressful time period as they build their firm. And we thought that having a very, not just having the scientific knowledge behind it, but also built in a way that a startup founder could appreciate, which is exactly what Ramya herself was, because she herself had been part of our startup incubator. So I think in that respect, we thought this was a perfect combination of someone who understood the journey of how it would be for the founder, and at the same time had the medical expertise to bring the right kind of support to them. So I can see that being used. Similarly, I could see CAPE being part of our offering to all our students. As I said, we have about 1,000 students in campus. So all of them could be part of this. And I think, I'm actually interested in knowing a little bit more about the platform in terms of how it can create sort of a robust networks or robust groups for people to help each other as well along the way. So I think those are the sort of things that I can see it being used right away in an academic institution like IIM Bangalore.
Thank you so much, Professor Venkatesh. If I can answer the last bit of your question, we are very able to work with the student community in a self-empowering manner, so it can be customized and localized to fit. And we are able to support them individually and from a group perspective, depending on their ease or convenience. And a lot of the work happens backstage, if you like, in the sense that they are working on themselves at a time that's very convenient for them, which makes it very very accessible, and one doesn't need to wait for a therapist or until the next time. And we know from our science and what mental health and psychiatry tells us that our risks are increased at the time when we are stressed. The risks go up; they shoot up exponentially in a variety of ways. And when one can actually reach out to that companion at that point and work through their difficulties, it can minimize things quite significantly. And hopefully in a variety of ways, we should be able to support that. Would any of the other panelists like to answer the question? Any thoughts?
Or rather, I would have some follow-up questions in the sense, knowing more about CAPE to understand how it functions, because we, at least as a layman, I understand it is, or it sounds like a sort of an alternative healing, where this science blends with creativity. Now, need to understand more how it would work, in the sense, how would you see the emotional balance coming by? Do I need to, if I want to use CAPE, do I need to pick up a creative arts myself and get into creative arts, or
Absolutely not.
like playing some instruments, musical instruments or something, or listening to music itself will help? Those questions come by. And then more generic questions, in the sense that if I had, when I was a child, if I had if I had picked up music, but then I had not carried on, that would I be able to pick up only for the CAPE? Would I need to pick up music, or if I had never been exposed to, uh, do I for taking the help of CAPE, do I have to go into any particular music? So these questions are very basic, but these questions come to the mind, and so I thought of a follow-up question to what the other person had raised.
Thanks, Shantanu. When we think about creativity, you know what? It's everywhere. It's all around us. It's permeating through us, and it's coming from us, and we don't even realize it most of the time. A lawyer's debate, a lawyer's rationale, that has creativity. That requires creativity. And when it combines with science, when we know how the brain works and how it works a certain way with creativity, and to be able to use it in a way that there is no harm done, but there can be only benefits in the right proportion and mix. That is the key, and that's the beauty of CAPE, because what we have developed is unique to you, but at the same time, what works for you might not work for someone else, and we're able to take that on board and tailor it accordingly. At the same time, when you're working with a population, a cohort of people, it is still applicable to a cohort, and it's the first time that something like this can be done. And that's the beauty. And with creativity, as I said, it is most of the time we don't know that there is. They say one looks at a rock, but a sculptor looks at an elephant. So because he knows that's what he wants to create. So it's that kind of a. I think it's different to everyone else, and that's what CAPE can empower and support one with.
Manjana, do you
Dr.
wanted to
Manjuna,
say something?
yes, Dr. Manjuna,
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
saying.
Yeah, that was beautifully articulated, Ramya. Yes, that was very well said. And Shantanu sir, trying to answer your question. Just we all know the power of music, but don't think that musicians are out of all this mental stress and out of all these mental disorders. And probably we are one of the most susceptible group of people continuously undergoing different sorts of mental stress and mental agony, and then many other things. And then the question, obvious question is, how come you yourself is a musician, and then how come you are still under stress? Then the answer, as Ramya rightly mentioned, it is all about what CAPE does is, the right proportion of this and this and this and this under a immensely advanced professional guidance. When it is advocated, only then the required result is possible. Sometimes even one of the most wonderful things like music itself alone may not work all the time. It has to be combined with some kind of medical diagnostics and some treatment, maybe some breathing techniques, some yoga things, and some thinking pattern changing advice, and some exercises and all those things. For this, it is not possible for musician alone to think of all those things. That is how CAPE comes into the picture. And CAPE, with its wonderful expertise on the panel, can really, look into each and every single case and come up with a highly wonderful, comprehensive treatment, and which is much suited for each and every single case. And then that is how it works, and then the result is really amazing. And I think I made my point clear. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Manjunath. That was a very valid point. Thank you so much. There was another question from Mr. Gunaseelan. How would CAPE address the issues of privacy of one who uses this app more so when it comes to the mental status of the user? Mr. Arakasamy, the basis of CAPE is that it's a healthcare app. We are an ethical, transparent healthcare app. And the same rules of confidentiality and the highest levels of ethics that apply to healthcare, that apply within healthcare, apply to CAPE as well. And we work very carefully to ensure that we are very transparent in terms of the data we collect. We do not sell the data to anyone. We are fully UK GDPR compliant, EU GDPR compliant in that sense. And we are very aware that the data we hold is taken with your consent, and we are very aware that that consent can change. So in that sense, just as it would apply to any healthcare interactions, the same rules of confidentiality would apply to the app as well. So we also work with only accredited, vetted, experienced specialists within healthcare who are very well aware of the confidentiality and the agreements that go with the arena. I hope that answers your question. That's great. Thank you very much. It is unfortunate that we've lost Dr. Kishore Kumar. I think we've had, there's Dr. Kumar. Dr. Kumar, are you able to speak without the video? That might actually, we might still be able to hear you, and we might be, that might be better in terms of connectivity. Can you hear us? I think we've lost him again. Right. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to hear to Dr. Kumar. And what we will do, and there are many other questions coming in, but unfortunately, time is not permitting us to continue on with that. So with that in mind, what we will do is we will collate a list of questions that have been put forth to us on various platforms, and we'll endeavor to answer them in the frequently asked questions on the website. So please do check that out. Give us a few days, and hopefully we should be in a position to have answered all your questions on the website and on the app. On that note, I would like to again extend our heartfelt thanks to the Nehru Center, Mr. Amish Tripathi, Director, for hosting us today. Thank you so much. Thanks to the wonderful Nehru Center team, Archana, Sandeep, and Vineet ji, for your support. Our deep gratitude to our wonderful expert panelists for your valuable time and very valuable perspectives, which has added so much to today's discussion. I'm deeply honored and grateful for your time. And thank you so much to the NSR Cell Wing of the Indian Institute of Management, the team Ankita Shloka, and my mentors, Mr. Vivek Srinivasan, Sukumar Rangachari, Mr. Surya Narayanan, and also Ms. Shruti Kannan. Our panel of specialists across geographies bring the valuable expertise to CAPE, and we are very thankful to have them with us on the journey. Our committed team at CAPE, my PAs, Rose and Maggie, for managing my sanity, and our students, our interns, and our CAPE family, thank you all very much. Personally, for me, I'm forever grateful to my wonderful family for their constant support. My co founder and better half, Dr. Mohan, has been the silent backbone of the project. Friends and well wishers across continents, always there, always ready to help, and always part of the journey. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. Many thanks to our wonderful audience and your questions today. The event video will be available to view on the Nehru Center platforms after today. It also has our contact details. Please feel free to drop us a line or feedback or simply log in to find out more. So, decades of hard groundwork, we are very proud and delighted to bring CAPE to you today. Thank you so much. And let's have a collective cheer really together for a more capable world for everyone, for each and every one of us. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. And thank you so much for joining. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.